What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. I am back with a very special video for you guys. Before I do my Oscar predictions for every single category, which I've been racking my brain about for the last week and a half, I've decided to do something a little bit different. I'm going to rank every Best Picture nomination for the 2018 Academy Awards. Now, for real, I thought this would be a lot of fun, and before we start, I want you guys to know that this is completely and 100% my opinion. I enjoy all of these movies. I think all of these movies are worthy of being Best Picture, except for maybe one or two. That's where we get controversial. But at the end of the day, I think they're all either really good or great. I just prefer some over others, and this is not ranking the best of the best movies, what I think is the #1 best made film all around. No, this is my favorite. So the ones at the bottom of the list are the ones I enjoyed least, the ones at the top, the ones I enjoyed most. I don't know why I'm explaining this. And it is 150,000% my opinion. If you guys have a different list, which odds are you probably won't have the exact same list as me, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments section below. All right, Austin, you've said enough. Let's do this. So coming in at the bottom of the barrel is The Post, Steven Spielberg's brand new movie, which I think is a very good movie. I just don't think it's great or on the level of these other films. I believe I have The Post in the low 30s or high 40s on my list of 2017 movies. Now, I enjoyed this movie to a point to where I can say, yeah, I'm happy it was nominated. But do I think there were so many movies that should have been nominated over this movie? Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, there's good performances, a solid story, and a very good script. It's just the movie as a whole feels like it's more of a statement than a piece of art. And the first hour for me was just very choppy and a little bland. I wasn't really hooked until the halfway mark in the movie. Now, the last hour of the film is really good. It's Spielberg being Spielberg, but it took me so long to get hooked on the story, and I think that's the main reason why it's at the bottom of this list. But even there, even at the bottom of this list, it's still a very good film, and I can say I enjoyed The Post. Up next is Phantom Thread. This is Paul Thomas Anderson's latest movie, the final performance for Daniel Day-Lewis. When I first watched this movie, I didn't really know how to feel about it. I knew I liked it a little bit more than The Post, but I was neck and neck with both of these films. The more I think about Phantom Thread as opposed to a movie like The Post, the more I like Phantom Thread, the more I get out of its story, the more I can dive into the detail of the plot that Paul Thomas Anderson gave us, and I think this really is a movie that has the potential to move up this list. It's a little long, a little drawn out. It's not a movie that everybody's going to enjoy, especially when it comes to the twist at the end. I kind of enjoyed the twist, but it will turn some people off. That being said, Phantom Thread is another solid outing for Paul Thomas Anderson and a great final performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. Don't get mad at me. Please don't get mad at me, because Lady Bird is a very good movie and a really good coming-of-age story. It's just, for me, it was hyped up a little too much going in. Coming out of the movie, I felt like I felt when I watched Edge of 17. It was a really great coming-of-age story, one I can't relate to as much as, say, a female, because this is a female-centric story, but I related to her so much at points throughout the movie, and I saw myself in her at times, and that's pretty incredible to do when you're trying to relate to a female as an audience member, and the fact that they can convey that is fantastic. Saoirse Ronan is incredible, and the supporting performances in this film are really what make it great. I do think it falls into some conventional traps here and there. That's not to say this isn't a great movie. It is a great movie. I just don't think it's the best movie of the year, but that's just my opinion. Strike me down. Next up is a movie that I believe delivers the #1 best performance of the year. And going in, yeah, everybody's building this up. They're hyping it up. Oh, Gary Oldman is going to be phenomenal in Darkest Hour. You wait till you see it. And I'm like, okay, is it just his performance that I'm waiting on? Or is this movie going to at least be decent? No, the movie actually rises above the performance, which is really impressive because the performance is incredible. It's just the movie was better than I thought it would be. Beautiful cinematography, a captivating story, one that sucks you in and makes you feel like you are there. If you pair this with Dunkirk, they go hand in hand. What a double feature. You can feel the length at times, but Darkest Hour surprised me as a movie, and I'm so glad it got nominated. Up next is Call Me By Your Name. Madison and I just watched this movie. It's the final one I had to watch. Madison, what did you think?
I really enjoyed this movie. The colors were vivid. The cinematography was great. The music was really good.
And the music was Oscar nominated.
Well, now I know why.
Yeah, I completely agree. This movie was so beautiful to look at. The cinematography, the color scheme, everything about it. I felt like it was missing something in terms of plot. I wanted a little bit more tension there, something to happen that didn't really happen. That doesn't take anything away from the amazing performances. And Michael Stuhlbarg, the guy was robbed of a supporting actor nomination. Come on. Three Billboards, a movie that relates to me so hardcore because I have an accent such as the people in this movie, and there are so many characters that I can relate to in this movie because there are people that I know in real life that act like these characters, and it's so interesting to me how these guys can be portrayed so lifelike on screen. The performances here are really what make this movie. Frances McDormand, I'm not saying who I want to win, but she's really, really good in this movie, and then you have two best supporting actors, Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson. How did Martin McDonagh not get nominated for Best Director when you have three people that got nominated for acting awards? This is the only movie of the year where I can genuinely say I did not know what was going to happen. There were so many twists and turns that caught me off guard, and that is so impressive. Not saying that I can see things coming from a mile away, but I have eyes like a wombat and ears like a rodent. I felt better about the ending the second time I watched this movie, but it's still not my favorite ending of all of these films, but Three Billboards is still well worth an Oscar nomination. Oh my goodness, I loved Dunkirk. Dunkirk. It's a movie that I have not stopped thinking about since I watched it and then watched it again, and I need to watch it one more time. It's a movie that is a little more divisive than I think it should be. I think the biggest problem with this film is there is not a main character. It focuses on the war. It makes war the main character. I've never seen that before in a movie, and while some people will tell you this movie is boring, and I can definitely see where they're coming from, the gripes with all of these Oscar films, I can see where people have gripes, and I have gripes of my own, but with Dunkirk, I think this film is master class in terms of filmmaking. Christopher Nolan deserves a nomination. This is one of the best war movies I have seen in a long, long time. You know, for a while there, Get Out was actually my number 3 or 4 movie, but the more I watch it and the more I see the subtleties in Jordan Peele's filmmaking, the more this moves up. Get Out is right now my number 2 movie on this list. It is such a good film in terms of rewatchability, and like I say all the time, I don't like when you judge a movie off of how progressive it is or how politically correct a movie is. I could care less. If the movie is good, if the filmmaking is ripe, and if the acting is fantastic, that stuff does not matter to me at all. But Get Out plays off of these cliches in such a way and does things with these characters that is so interesting and so progressive that it plays towards the movie and it helps the movie out. I think that's fantastic. While Get Out might not be the most creative in terms of filmmaking on this list, I can't really find a major flaw in it, and that is really impressive. I know you guys probably guessed this. If you saw my top 10 movies of 2017, you knew this would be at the top of this list. It's The Shape of Water. It's a movie that's not going to strike the same chord with everyone. I watched it with Madison. She didn't like it near as much as I liked it, but I just think this film is so creative in terms of filmmaking, the visual style, the appeal of the characters, and the performances. Everything is really top-notch here, and it's just such a creative movie. It's a play off of Beauty and the Beast. And while I completely understand the criticisms with this film and people calling it the fish sex movie, I think that's pretty funny, honestly. In my opinion, it is so much more than that. There are so many layers to this movie. It is such a deep film in terms of plot and story, and I really want to watch this again. I've only seen it one time, and the fact that it's number 1 is very impressive. But if you guys can't tell, it's what I want to win for Best Picture. This is the first year in a long time where I can genuinely say all of these movies are good to great movies, and all of them deserve some type of award because 2017 was just a great year for film. Yeah, I've talked about the movies that I wanted to get nominated for Best Picture. Logan, Blade Runner 2049, Baby Driver, all of those movies are great and better than a few movies on this list in my opinion, but at this point, I just have to accept and appreciate all of the movies nominated. Thank you guys so so much for watching this video. Like I said, I want to hear your lists. Leave your lists in the comments below. If you're not following me on the Stardust app, the link is in the description. I'm reviewing movies and doing trailer reactions on there daily. And tomorrow, Super Bowl Sunday, lots of trailers to react to. You guys are the absolute best, and I will catch you later.